Serious fans who have been engrossed in a fictional universe so much you could probably earn a degree about it, what plot holes, logical inconsistencies, and the like cannot be reconciled and bother you to no end. Paw Patrol. So hear me out, I have 3 kids, oldest 10, youngest 2. I have been watching this show for a very long time. Every episode is an inconsistency. Let's just put aside the fact that an entire city leaves their emergency services to a group of puppies and a 12-year-old who seemed to not have parents. Why do these puppies talk and the kittens do not? Also, they keep adding puppies. Everest, Tracker, the pirate pup. Do all dogs talk? Now they have superpowers in some episodes. Why do the puppy cars have steering wheel? The Walking Dead. Gasoline is only good in cars for 6 months. In cans maybe a few years. In pumps, 5 years. They should not have been able to use cars after like year 6. In Zombieland, a comedy, whenever the cast would go into a building they would make noise to draw out and deal with the zombies first, then do whatever they wanted. Yet not once does TWD group ever clear out a building first. They stumble into them and someone always either gets bit or nearly gets bit. World War Z, it took them 5 minutes to realize magazines strapped on your arms protects you from bites, and it seems to be a TWD rule to only wear t-shirts and maybe some leather if you're cool enough. If you stick a pocket knife in a skull, you need both hands and a boot on the head to get it back. And if your weapon had nails on it, it's gone after one use. Barbed wire, not a vast improvement. You risk getting it caught very easily. And finally, they have established multiple times the walkers smell like dead, rotting flesh. If you walk into a room or house that smells like dead, rotting flesh, you know what the hell is in there. And if you're walking around the woods and suddenly smell dead, rotting flesh, you should know what the hell is near you. There is no reason they should ever sneak up on anyone.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
In X-Files, there are like 3 different versions of Samantha's abduction, and they all significantly impact the plot and the way Mulder reacts to certain situations. It's my favorite show of all time, but I've always found it annoying that they kept retconning that aspect of the myth arc. I know why they did it, but it was dumb IMO. Pirates of the Caribbean. This is annoying me to no end, but in Dead Men Tell No Tales they completely rewrite Jack's history by saying he got his compass from his old captain, when in Dead Man's Chest it's explained that he got it from Tia Dolma. She literally says, "Why didn't you use the compass I gave you?" Ugh, thanks for the award, kind stranger. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. How does Toodles know what kind of items Mickey and the gang will need that day? Does he have some kind of crystal ball dedicated to Mouseki tools? We even got to see inside the Mouseki door, but it didn't tell us anything aside from liquid light makes it run. Sorry, I have 2 young kids. I've seen every episode at least a dozen times. They've never addressed this and it drives me crazy. I love the theory that all the Pokédex entries are written by the 10-year-olds the professors sent out, so that's why you get Pokemon that are supposedly hotter than the sun, or the 80-foot whale that only weighs like 1,000 pounds because kids have no sense of physics or scale. It seems I was wrong about Wailord being off. I'll admit my interest in Pokemon was really only the first 2 generations. How about things like Pidgeot flying at Mach 2? Nix weighing 463 pounds. Raiden is listed 264 pounds and states Raiden's horn can crush even uncut diamonds. One sweeping blow of its tail can topple a building. This Pokemon's hide is extremely tough. Even direct cannon hits don't leave a scratch. So I'm actually a really big fan of the movie Cars, and honestly you don't need to be a big fan to think of logic inconsistencies. Like in Cars 3 they have spray bottles. How do they spray them? They have paint jobs, so if they are stripped from their paint are they naked? Well, apparently not, because in the Motor Tall Tale short where he goes to Japan, when that one car loses the race he is stripped from his modifications and he acts embarrassed like he was naked or something. Why do some buildings have regular-sized doors? A car obviously can't fit through one. I could go on, and at this point you probably stopped reading because you were already able to think of some of these. So everyone is sharing their head canon, so I figured I would share mine. So I have always felt that the cars have their own world or universe. I have always felt they evolved like humans, and maybe something that wasn't a car but similar were the cavemen who evolved into the cars today. I know it is boring, but I just find it the easiest for me to wrap my head around. Hockman. Oh, where to begin? Let's just talk about Cubone. Cubone is said to wear the skull of its dead mother. However, if you breed Cubone, it's born with the skull already on its head, and its mother is still alive and well. So how is Cubone wearing its mother's skull? You've probably heard this one before, but in Harry Potter, Hogwarts was built before the invention of the sink, or basin, whatever you want to call it. However, the Chamber of Secrets built at the same time as the rest of the castle uses a sink as its method of entry, so how did Salazar Slytherin create an entrance to the chamber using a form of indoor plumbing that wouldn't exist for centuries to come? Harry Potter, there are several plot holes, but the one for me is in Order of the Phoenix. Sirius gives Harry a gift before Harry leaves headquarters. It's a mirror that allows them to communicate. Why the hell would he not tell Harry to talk to him via the mirror? They talk via extremely dangerous Food Network. Not only that, but Harry could have simply used the mirror to check on Sirius when he suspects that Voldy has him at the Ministry. Sirius should have suggested they talk via the mirror rather than Food Network.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out. But there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Max earplugs today.
In the original King Kong, apparently the locals built this giant wall around their city to keep Kong out, right? So why is there a Kong-sized door in the wall? At some point they must have said, we need to build a wall big enough to keep out the giant ape. I know, let's put a huge door in it and then we'll just lock it. Really, that's what bothers you about Fallout? For me it's Vault-Tech's motive. They built massive underground social experiments which wouldn't be get used in case of total nuclear extinction. 200 years later you've got your data but no one's alive to use it. After the animated kids show we do anthropomorphic animal people keep regular animals as pets. Like Arthur and his family of aardvark people have a pet dog that is just a regular little dog. Even though there are dog people characters. What the hell? I can explain it to you in a few sentences if you want. Remember, a lot was reckoned poorly and not all of it agrees because later things overwrite the earlier stuff. Basically, there are two groups of aliens having a war in space. Black goo alien hybrid humans versus the blind aliens. The black goo aliens want to invade Earth and use us as biomass to grow more soldiers. The governments indicate make a bargain for them to come back in a few decades and we will turn ourselves over peacefully. They take the government's children as collateral. This is Mulder's sister. In the meantime, the Syndicate is doing its own shady stuff in attempt to block the aliens from invading. The blind aliens come along now and then to kill people that they think are being tested by goo aliens. A lot more happens, but it's basically two alien types fighting with humans stuck in the middle with the occasional giant worm in sewers. Stopped watching TWD after Terminus. The one thing that annoyed me was that the characters never thought about using Miken's strategy of chopping the jaws off of the zombies while they were living in the prison. They could have built a less zombie pen all along the perimeter of the jail, essentially creating a zombie shield, as the zombies won't be able to smell any humans at all. Merlin is my all-time favorite show, but it was riddled with plot holes and inconsistencies. To me, though, the most frustrating thing is that Arthur was king for less than one season, didn't really achieve much during that time, didn't even legalize magic or anything, but is supposed to be the once and future king of Albion and the guy who brings balance back to Camelot, etc. I love Arthur, and I'm fully certain he could have proven himself worthy of his great destiny and all that, but the series literally never gave him time to do that. He barely even got to be king at all. What was all the build-up for? Even worse, in a deleted scene from At World's End and later in a book, it was established that Jack wasn't always a pirate. He used to be a trader, until the East India Company hired him to deliver a load of slaves to the Caribbean. Jack couldn't do it and freed them, which is why the company branded him as a pirate as punishment and burned his ship down. Jack then made a deal with Davy Jones to get his ship back. That's why the pearl was black from the fire, and why Davy Jones wanted Jack to give him 100 souls for his freedom, because Jack had freed 100 slaves. And then in Dead Men he just was a pirate from day one. Bionicle's story was spread and retold throughout different pieces of media, so there were sometimes conflicting versions of events. For example, in the book version of the final battle, the main villain's head was broken in by a piece of a moon, while in the comics the whole thing just got smashed into the back of his head. Oh, and decanonizing the concept of love didn't make a lot of people happy. Incluivette allegedly crept up behind Mr. Body and killed him with a candlestick while all of the other guests were examining the cook's body in the kitchen. She then managed to balance the murder weapon perfectly on the door frame so that it would fall on Wadsworth's head. First, she was wearing heels. How's she sneaking up on anybody, let alone Mr. Body, on those hardwood floors? Oak, maybe she took her heels off. That would make sense and easier to sneak. But then, secondly, how'd this 53 French maid manage to perfectly balance a candlestick on the narrow edge of door frame with a standard height of 68? It just doesn't add up. And don't even get me started on how someone of her size would manage to drag a corpse aft, then prop said corpse up against the door, without managing to get blood all over herself or the floor. Still, funny movie though. One of the things that bothers me the most in Harry Potter is the fact that criminals can't opt to take Veritaserum in order to reveal if they committed a crime or not. I feel like that totally should have been an option, especially for people like Sirius Black.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug. It's called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
How are Vulcans not running all of Starfleet and the Federation? With their very long lifespan compared to humans, once one got a top-level position, they would stay there for way longer than most species would. Eventually most positions would end up being there most of the time. The Harry Potter universe. It has so many holes you can drive a truck through them. Fred and George have the Marauders map and never wondered why Peter Pettigrew was with their younger brother all the time. The whole book 5 could have been avoided if they used the Truth Serum potion or even Legilimency to read his mind and find that Voldemort was back. I believe 10,000 in some Asian cultures means the same as uncountably long infinite to us. Remember that Wan Shi Tong, the owl spirit, is also called by the name He Who Knows 10,000 Things. So Avatar 1 did not literally live 10,000 years ago, he lived a really long time ago. See the Wikipedia article on the subject. Harry Potter. They apparently have one wizard school per country, but far more witches and wizards around than could be accounted for by about 50 kids per year per country, going by their class sizes. Imagine living in a world consisting of the people in your small town only. So are there a lot more schools for wizards, but what, they just suck and are never mentioned. No one there can help out. There are far more, others of which are mentioned already, but that one consistently bugs me for some reason. In the original Star Wars, Obi-Wan's wearing a big robe to hide himself so nobody knows he's a Jedi, but in the prequels they made those robes Jedi robes, so now Obi-Wan is literally walking around in Jedi clothing while trying to hide from the Empire. I'm sure this thread is dead now, but thanks for the silver.
Hey guys, do you ever have a problem getting to sleep at night? Well, I've got the magic pill to cure your insomnia. Much like you, I used to twist and turn all night. But then I discovered that you can take melatonin and Valerian Root together to get a good night's sleep every single night. I've been taking it every night by for years and years. I've been taking Valerian and melatonin, and this is my life hack to get a good night's sleep and vivid dreams every night. So be sure to click my affiliate links, and I will give you the gift of a good night's sleep.